Today, I want to talk about connecting scales. Rather than worrying specifically about playing chords, I just want to connect scales of different keys. I'll demonstrate really quick what I mean before we go more in depth. So while playing that, I wasn't necessarily thinking about any chord in particular, instead just taking a more zoomed out view. Key of 1 sharp to key of 2 flats, or key of 1 sharp to key of 5 flats, and then resolving back to the key of 1 sharp. How I'm thinking of it is that I start by playing one scale and then midway change a couple notes to match the next key while continuing scale-wise. Let's take another look. Now, some things I'm looking to gain from this type of approach are 1. Hearing the shift points from key to key. 2. Creativity by limiting what we're thinking about. Maybe that creativity comes in the form of thinking of this scale changing slightly earlier or later than the chords actually change that you're playing over, or starting on notes/scale degrees that you might not normally start on. 3. Fluidity and continuity. Because I don't have to pause my idea to play through the changes, I can just continue the trajectory. And that means seeing those notes that have to change, knowing what they are, and where they are on my instrument. I know that probably sounds obvious to a lot of people, but you never know. Might help others. So how can we apply this? Simple example. Let's say you want to play a 2-5-1 resolving to F, G minor 7, C7, F major. Now again, we're not going to pay particular attention to the chords as we do this. We're going to kind of zoom out and look at things on a key size level. But when we do that, you could just play the key of 1 flat the entire time over all 3 chords, which you can make sound good. But the point of this video is connecting different scales. So let's insert a key switch to get some interesting flavors over that C7 chord. We could start playing in the key of 1 flat, change to the key of 5 sharps, and then resolve back into the key of 1 flat. Now, each time you do this, try paying attention to what note you start on, what note you switch on, and I guess what note you switch back on. Now, if you want to get real particular and organized, you could do this a bunch of different ways. You could do this a bunch of times, making sure that you start on every note of the first key. You could go 7 notes up and down on both scales. You could do 7 notes up and down, but on the way up, use one scale, and on the way down, you use a different scale. You could do down up instead. There's a lot of ways you could practice this. Real quick though, let's look at starting on every scale degree. So now that we've heard it, have a basic understanding and some ideas for how to practice this, let's apply it to a tune. Okay, now obviously you don't want to play like this all the time, but it's just a means to maybe help add connectivity and length to your lines, just sharpening one of the many tools in the toolbox. Also, let's take a look at some different keys we can sub out to get different flavors like we did before. Let's go over the key sections of this song. We start in the clear key, no accidentals. Then we go to the key of 3 flats here, and back to clear. Then key of 4 flats for this section, but we can insert a momentary move to the key of 3 sharps. So just there when I said 3 sharps, I actually meant 2 sharps. So doing a momentary switch from the key of 4 flats to the key of 2 sharps, and then back to the key of 4 flats. But interestingly enough, when you hear me play this in a second, I play that mistake. I play the key of 3 sharps, but it still kind of works, because if you play something with a good sense of time, nice articulation, and resolve it well, it'll pretty much work. So yeah, experiment with stuff. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Then here we'll go to 1 sharp, then clear, 3 flats, and we could stay 4 flats for these last 2 chords, or go 5 flats on the last chord. Lots of choices. There are many different key shifts that you could do all over this tune, and I would encourage you to experiment. Alright, I hope this has been helpful and is giving you some ideas to work on and implement. How would you use this? What key movements do you like? What tunes would you use it on? Are there any questions that this approach brings to mind? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with friends, comment, and hit that subscribe button to make sure you catch the next one. Alright.